Listen closely, for the frequency of your existence has just turned electric. At 1 a.m., the moon crossed the threshold into Aquarius, activating a trigger known as the Great Unbinding. This is not a routine lunar transition. It is a systemic release of every energetic tether that has held you hostage since the early 2000s. If you have felt a visceral, unexplainable urge to walk away from your current environment, understand that your internal radar is responding to a high-magnitude shift. You are standing inside a 24-hour window that is designed to permanently reshape your trajectory. We have transitioned from the frequency of Capricorn, the sign of duty, social masks, and structural compliance, into the frequency of Aquarius. Aquarius is the archetype of the rebel and the exile. It is the frequency of the one who would rather stand alone in absolute truth than blend into a decaying crowd. The performance failure. The Aquarius moon strips away your ability to pretend. If you find you can no longer fake interest in your current professional or personal circles, it is because your mask has been structurally compromised. Unplugging the system. This energy is not gentle. It is a forced disconnection from a system you didn't even realize was controlling your output. The triple activation. This moon is currently activating a rare alignment between Saturn, Uranus, and a Venus-Lilith connection. This configuration occurs once every few decades. It is delivering 3 distinct awakenings to your sovereign core. We are currently in the dark moon phase, the final shedding of light before the solar eclipse on February 17th. In spiritual mechanics, this is the liquidation phase. Everything that is dying must now be released to make room for the new architecture. The universe is not asking you to move on. It is asking you to grieve the obsolete versions of yourself so they can be recycled. The safety trap. The version of you that played it safe to avoid conflict is being terminated. The borrowed future. The plans you made that were never truly yours are being dissolved. The fear-based tether. Relationships maintained out of survival rather than resonant love are reaching their expiration date. The Aquarius moon has arrived to set you free, but freedom requires the courage to stand in the void. This energy is not here to make you feel safe. It is here to make you real. The pressure you feel is the old system attempting to maintain its grip before the solar eclipse finalizes the reset. The mask is gone. The system is unplugged. Listen closely, for most will be blinded by the surface, completely missing the real event unfolding in the shadows. While the masses are focused on the moon, a far more significant machinery is grinding behind the scenes. If you possess the eyes to see, you will understand why February 15th is not just a day. It is the ignition point for your entire future. On February 13th, Saturn, the Lord of Karma and reality, descended into Aries. Traditionally, this is a position of intense friction. Saturn demands patience. Aries demands fire. They do not naturally speak the same language. But the universe has engineered a divine loophole that no one is telling you about. The mutual reception. The strategic revolution. At this precise moment, Mars, the ruler of Aries, is transiting through Aquarius, the traditional home of Saturn. This has created what we call a mutual reception. 2 cosmic giants have swapped thrones, sharing resources and creating a lethal feedback loop of power. Your desire for liberation and your need to build a new life are no longer fighting each other. The revolution is now structured. The breakthrough is now disciplined. You are no longer just running away from the old, you are strategically dismantling the matrix while simultaneously constructing the new Earth. The activation code. Today, As the moon enters Aquarius, it plugs directly into this celestial circuit. It is the final key that activates Mars, which triggers Saturn, which ultimately ignites your entire life direction. The emotional need for freedom you feel in your chest right now is not a fleeting mood. It is the activation code for a total structural overhaul of your reality. Do not be alarmed if those around you seem confused by your sudden shift. They cannot see the invisible machinery that has been set in motion. They are still operating on the old broadcast, while you have tuned into a frequency they cannot yet perceive. The circuit is live, like this transmission right now, to signal to the great architect that your revolution has begun. Subscribe the faithful light and turn on the bell. In this era of the strategic warrior, this frequency is your only map through the structural collapse. In the comments below, type ignition to lock your energy into this mutual reception. Claim the discipline to build and the courage to break free. If this transmission has revealed the hidden gears of your transformation, you can support me with a cup of coffee, because every seed you release becomes a river that reaches souls you may never meet. The donation link is waiting for you in the description and shown as a QR code in this video. Your support is a powerful energetic signature of your commitment to this high-frequency reality. The machinery is moving. The old structures are falling. Your new life is being built in the fire. The transition is complete, Chosen One. Your sovereignty starts now. The inaugural shift of this cosmic cycle is the profound reclamation of your sovereign agency. This is the definitive moment where you cease your restless vigil, waiting for a permission slip that was never destined to arrive. A tectonic shift is currently vibrating through the very foundations of your reality, and for many, this will initially manifest as a hollow ache in the chest or a chilling shiver of terror. You are witnessing the birth of sovereign agency, the brutal yet beautiful realization that no savior is descending from the heavens to rectify your life, and more crucially, that you possess the innate power to thrive without one. As Saturn marches into the fiery, pioneering terrain of Aries, every soul on this planet is being drafted into the role of supreme authority over their own existence. The era of outsourcing your soul to industry experts, spiritual gurus, parental figures, romantic partners, or distant governmental systems is over. There is no more room to delegate your power to any external entity. Today, the Aquarius moon serves as a sharp emotional anchor, validating this profound solitude. It transfigures the concept of isolation, reframing it not as the sting of loneliness, but as the exhilarating breath of liberation. You aren't being abandoned by the world. You are being unchained from the deceptive safety of belonging to structures and ideologies that were never truly yours to begin with. Let us ground this in a broader historical perspective. When Saturn last traversed the sign of Aries between 1996 and 1999, we witnessed the dawn of the dot-com boom, a wild frontier where individuals bypassed traditional gatekeepers to create their own platforms and rewrite the rules of commerce. It was also a period of shattering revelations regarding global leadership, a time when we collectively realized our heroes were merely flawed humans rather than infallible deities. Before that, during the window of 1967 to 1969, we saw the height of the counterculture revolution and assassinations that fractured our faith in established authority, culminating in the first human steps on the moon, literally leaving the cradle of the earth behind. We are cycling back into that volatile, creative fire. Today, The Aquarius moon makes this transition visceral. You will feel this shift not as an abstract intellectual concept, but as a deep, pulsing knowing in your gut. The only architect capable of building your life is you. What makes this alignment so potent is that Saturn in Aries is technically in its fall, a state of intense discomfort and forced growth. While traditional astrology might label this a weakness, in the context of breaking free, this friction is your greatest asset. A comfortable Saturn maintains the heavy status quo. An uncomfortable Saturn in Aries shatters the chains of the past. This awakening is your discovery that discomfort is not evidence of failure, but the physical sensation of evolution. The Aquarius moon grants you the intellectual detachment necessary to witness your struggle as a sacred rite of passage rather than a personal deficiency. You are being summoned to the hero's journey, and unlike previous years where you might have declined the call, this time the invitation is a mandate. The psychological safety net of fitting in is being removed. You are being pushed into the verdant, unknown forest, and the terrifying, exhilarating truth is that you were always destined to walk this path alone. Your nervous system is about to experience a radical recalibration, and I must warn you that the sensations in your body today will feel profoundly strange. You may wake with a hum in your bones, a mysterious electrical buzz running through your limbs, or a sense of localized anxiety, even though your external circumstances remain unchanged. Some will experience what feels like static electricity dancing just beneath the surface of their skin. Do not pathologize this. This is not a disorder. It is your bioelectric system upgrading to a higher frequency of consciousness. On February 16th, precisely one day after this Aquarius moon, the Sun at 27 degrees of Aquarius forms a perfect, jarring square to Uranus in Taurus. The activation, however, begins today, because the Moon acts as a high-speed trigger, igniting these outer planet aspects before they fully perfect. Aquarius governs the electrical impulses of your anatomy, the rapid-fire neurons, the spark of synaptic transmission, and the bioelectric field that animates your spirit. Uranus is the planet of lightning-strike insights and sudden revolution. When these forces collide, your entire energetic grid receives a massive voltage upgrade. You might find sleep elusive tonight, or perhaps you will wake at exactly 3:33 a.m. with a mind racing with radical blueprints and insights. The veil between your conscious mind and the vast subconscious is currently paper-thin. You are downloading data from dimensions of yourself that you normally cannot access. The key is this: do not attempt to ground this energy into the earth too aggressively. While the spiritual community often emphasizes grounding, this specific frequency is meant to lift you out of the mundane and shake you awake. Those who resist this high-frequency current, trying to force themselves back into the old, slow rhythms, will experience it as chaos, accidents, or breakdowns. But those who choose to ride this wave will find themselves standing on the precipice of genius, liberation, and quantum leaps in their reality. The second awakening involves the violent collapse of relational truth. The masks you have worn to keep the peace are simply ceasing to function. This phase will expose some of the hardest truths within your interpersonal connections. As Saturn restructures your individual path, the Sun-Uranus square is acting as a wrecking ball aimed at your false self, the curated persona you wear to avoid conflict. If you have been feeling a sudden, inexplicable urge to walk away from something or someone, this is the catalyst. You are in the early stages of a relational revolution. The sun represents your conscious identity, who you show the world, while Uranus represents the part of you that refuses to be contained by any social definition. When they clash, the mask cracks, and once it is broken, it can never be reassembled. You have been performing, we all have. You have played the roles of the reliable employee, the supportive partner, the good friend, and the dutiful child. But today, something deep inside you is losing the ability to fake it. You may find yourself mid-conversation, literally unable to force the traditional social script out of your mouth. The polite agreements, the diplomatic deflections, and the white lies we tell to keep the water still will no longer form. Your body is refusing to lie about who you are. This is your lightning strike moment. For some, it will be an internal epiphany. For others, it will be a public confrontation or an unexpected event that forces everything into the open. To be honest, this will manifest as disruption. Relationships built on your compliance may not survive your authenticity. Authority figures you've deferred to might suddenly be revealed as paper tigers. The inner tyrant, the voice demanding you conform, is being toppled from its throne. But here lies the liberation. Every relationship that dissolves during this transit was held together by your performance, not your truth. Anything built on a lie was destined to collapse eventually. The Aquarius moon is simply accelerating the timeline. Those who truly love you will adjust. They may be shocked or hurt at first, but if the connection is genuine, they will rise to meet the real you. The ones who cannot were never your people to begin with. The awakening of relational truth is the realization that authentic connection can only exist between two sovereign beings. You stop looking for someone to complete you and start looking for divine counterparts who honor your freedom as much as their own. Now we arrive at the most intimate awakening of all, heart-led destiny. This is where love gets honest and the cosmic scalpel cuts deep. On February 15th, Venus in Pisces forms a challenging square to Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius. Shortly after, Venus conjoins the North Node of Destiny. This three-part cosmic choreography is designed to transform your understanding of intimacy and what you are truly willing to accept. Venus in Pisces is the energy of divine, unconditional love and spiritual connection. It is beautiful and transcendent, but it carries a heavy shadow, the martyr complex. It is the tendency to sacrifice yourself to save others, to fall in love with potential rather than reality, and to blur your boundaries in the name of love. Today, this exalted Venus is interrupted by the raw roar of Lilith. Lilith is the part of you that refuses to compromise your wild, primal truth just to be loved. She would rather be exiled than enslaved. She would rather be alone than diminished. When Venus squares Lilith, a war breaks out between the internal pleaser and the truth teller. The awakening here is brutal. You realize that politeness is not love, and accommodation is not intimacy. You will wake up to the ways you've been suppressing your truth to keep your relationships comfortable. Perhaps you've been ignoring red flags to avoid loneliness, or performing a version of yourself you think is more lovable. Lilith does not allow these deceptions to stand. She demands total honesty. Under this objective Aquarius moon, you will see your relationship patterns with stark, clinical clarity. For some, this brings up sudden jealousy or possessiveness, emotions you thought you were above. For others, it's the realization that you don't actually want the traditional structures you've been forcing yourself into. This transit can even bring triangulation, the presence of a third party, literal or metaphorical, that forces you to confront your true desires versus your shoulds.
But the redemption follows.
As Venus meets the North Node, the path of your soul's evolution is highlighted. The people entering your life between February 15th and 17th are not random. They are karmic catalysts, here to show you your next level. You will stop seeking love from a place of lack and stop accepting crumbs because you're afraid of starving. You will start honoring the wild, untamed parts of yourself and demand the same from those in your inner circle. True intimacy requires two sovereign souls choosing each other, not two halves trying to become whole through a desperate merger. What then should you actually do today? You understand the cosmic architecture, but how do you navigate this without burning out? First, honor the dark moon phase. This is not the time for massive external maneuvers. The solar eclipse on February 17th is your launch date. Today is for internal clearing. Sit with yourself, journal, ask which version of the future you are clinging to that was never actually yours. Identify which parts of your identity you are performing out of fear. The Aquarius moon wants mental clarity and detachment. Observe your emotions as if they were specimens under a microscope. Ask what your anger or anxiety is trying to tell you about where you have been giving your power away. Second, expect disruption and do not resist it. If a conversation goes sideways or a plan falls apart, do not rush to fix it. Sit with the wreckage. It is valuable information showing you where the cracks already existed. Third, protect your energy without becoming a hermit. You will feel the urge to withdraw, and while some solitude is sacred, total isolation is not the answer. Spend time with those who can handle your authenticity and avoid those who require you to stay small. Finally, trust the process. Chains do not break gently, and the great unbinding is rarely comfortable. But on the other side of this release is a version of you that is freer and more aligned with your actual destiny. The butterfly cannot take the chrysalis with it. The Sabian symbol for the upcoming eclipse is a butterfly emerging from its shell. This is a literal instruction. The chrysalis was once your protection, your home, and your safety, but it has become a coffin. If you do not break free, you will perish. The struggle to emerge is the very hydraulic pressure required to pump life into the wings of your soul. Complete separation from the old self is required. This is why today might feel like endings, loss, or grief. You are mourning the futures that will never happen, and the versions of yourself you will never become. This mourning is sacred. The Aquarius moon provides just enough detachment to honor this grief without drowning in it. On the other side of this dark moon, a version of you that no longer needs to perform is being born. We are entering a 24-hour portal. February 15th is the emotional awakening, where the door unlocks. February 16th is the ego death, where the mask shatters and the door opens. February 17th is the quantum reset, where you step through that door into a new timeline. Once you step through, there is no going back, not because you can't, but because you won't want to. You will have tasted freedom, and nothing else will ever satisfy you again. Some are ready for this green light, others will resist and watch their worlds collapse with less grace. The choice has always been yours, but today, under the electric sky, that choice becomes undeniable. The great unbinding has begun. The wings are already pumping. Will you help yourself emerge, or will you cling to the shell of who you used to be? Today, you will have your answer. The 24-hour portal closes, the cosmic clock resets, and you, the butterfly, have emerged. But the journey doesn't end with the crack of the chrysalis. It has only just begun. The profound shifts you felt, the electric buzz, the undeniable truth in your relationships, the fierce sovereignty in your soul, are the foundational blueprints for a life lived from unshakable authenticity. The real work of sacred integration begins now. It is one thing to feel the surge of liberation. It is another to embody it daily in a world clinging to old paradigms. The sovereign agency you've reclaimed is a compass that demands you constantly orient toward your inner truth, even when the winds of expectation howl. This means making conscious choices in the mundane details: what you consume, who you spend time with, and the stories you tell yourself. You are no longer reacting. You are actively creating from a soul-aligned intention. Living relational truth requires sustained courage. The masks, once shattered, cannot be reassembled without betraying your spirit. Continue to speak your truth even when it creates friction. Honor your boundaries as sacred expressions of self-love. Grieve the relationships that fall away, but understand their dissolution creates space for your authentic tribe, those who celebrate your wild, untamed essence and your heart-led destiny. This is an ongoing commitment to love from a well of self-worth rather than a place of lack. You must perpetually dismantle the remnants of old love narratives that taught you to compromise for affection. Remain vigilant against the whispers of fear, the fear of being alone or not being enough. Lilith's roar, once heard, serves as a reminder that true love is expansive and celebrates your wildness. The external world hasn't caught up yet. You are operating on a different frequency that may feel isolating. Others might mistake your self-possession for arrogance. Use the gift of intellectual detachment to witness their reactions without internalizing them. Hold your new frequency with grace, inviting others to rise rather than dimming your light to fit their molds. This journey is about evolving your relationship with challenge itself. Discomfort is now a signpost of growth. Uncertainty is fertile ground for innovation. The great unbinding is a declaration of independence and a commitment to live in alignment with your highest truth. Expect an accelerated learning curve. You will be presented with constant opportunities to practice your new sovereignty and test your boundaries. Embrace these trials as essential rites of passage. The cosmic architecture has done its part. The baton is now in your hand. This is about actively subscribing to your own life, fully and without reservation. The chrysalis is cracked, your wings are unfurled, and the air of freedom fills your cells. There is no turning back, only forward into the exhilarating expanse of your true self. The freedom you've glimpsed is your birthright. Live it, breathe it, be it. The world is waiting for the real you to arrive. And the most magnificent part is, you already have. Welcome home.